Hey there, warriors. David here from davidD.ca, your one-stop shop for health, wellness, and living a life you love. Have you ever wanted to change someone? Or perhaps you thought a relationship would be so much better if you could just get that person to change. Let's be real. Who hasn't? I think we've all wanted to change someone at one point or another, myself included. So in today's video, I've got you covered. Plus, I've got a free gift for you, so make sure you watch all the way through to the end. So let's dive in. You want to know how to change people or how to get them to change. Maybe you should lean in here for a little bit of dramatic effect, because here is the answer. You can't. Did I just burst your bubble? I probably did, but then again, don't you already know this? I mean, I certainly knew that we can change people, but to be honest, it didn't stop me from trying for over a decade. So let's talk about this a little bit more. What are some of the tactics we use to try and get people to change? Number one, nagging. Now that's a really good one, and it's the highest on the list, and for good reason, because it's really the most annoying. And you can probably attest to this if you've ever been on the other side. Not that I have, of course. Number two, we use guilt. Guilt and shame can be powerful motivators, or at least we think they are. So those deserve honorable mention. But to be honest, they don't really work. Number three, we use ultimatums, the this needs to change or else type of scenario, which, by the way, do we ever really follow through on those? Now, lastly, my all-time favorite, we try to love people into changing. For all those compassionate, sensitive, light-working, amazing people out there, this one is yours. You can't love someone into changing. This one took me a really long time to learn. So before we dive into what we can do, I need to first ask, because you know me, I'm all about the hard questions. Why do they have to change? And by the way, this isn't specific to romantic relationships. It can be family members, friends, or even work colleagues. So let's talk about this. Why do they have to change? What happens if they don't change? What if they remain as imperfect as they are? Because let's face it, we're all imperfect, so let's not forget that. What does it mean? What does it mean for us, and what does it mean for our relationship? Usually, we want people to change because of some ideal or fantasy that we've created for what our relationship should look like, or what it could be, or the potential that it could be. And not that we need much help creating these illusions or fantasies, but social media and Hollywood certainly don't help in telling us what our relationships should and should not look like. So, what if it doesn't look like the fantasy you've created? Is there room for it to be something different? Or perhaps something that you haven't even considered yet? Is there room for other opportunities or other possibilities? Now, I know how hard it can be to watch someone who's making bad decisions or neglecting to take care of themselves, in which case our motivation to make them change can seem really noble and righteous, but it's still not going to work. People will only change if the motivation is internal. It needs to come from them. So perhaps we need to consider some of these relationships. Perhaps the most loving and compassionate response is to walk away, to release the other person and the expectations we have of them. Now, I want to add a caveat here. If someone you know is harming themselves or becoming a danger to themselves or somebody else, please, please, please seek professional assistance. So what are some of the things we can do? Well, we can work on ourselves. I'm pretty sure I just felt your eyes roll through the computer, but it's true. We can work on ourselves and lead by example. And while we can work on being better ourselves, and while this shouldn't be your motivation for doing so, it just might end up inspiring others to follow suit. And to be honest, at the end of the day, even if they don't, you'll still be a better person. So I think that's still a win. Now, another reason we try and change people is because it's easier than looking at what's within ourselves that needs to be changed. Let's face it, that conversation in the mirror can be really uncomfortable. So sometimes it's easier to divert the focus onto somebody else. Because if we can concentrate on changing them or fixing them, then we don't need to look at what it is about ourselves that we don't like or that we don't love. So instead, let's practice a little bit of self-love. I think when you do so, you'll come to find that what was bothering you most about the other people has in part dissolved, and you'll be on your way to living a much happier and healthier life. And so, to support you on that journey, I've got a free self love meditation that you can download using the link below. No strings attached, just love from me to you. Now, I'd like to hear from you. What relationships have you been struggling with, and who have you been trying to change? Let me know in the comments below, and let's start a dialogue. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, share it with your friends, and hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Sending you love. Stay strong, warriors.